Hello and welcome to this edition of Diaspora Central. I am Gil Ingles, and with me today, yes, ladies and gentlemen, the man, the one, the greatest producers that Africa has to present to the world. I'm talking about the one who will make you chop your money. Fliptyce, directly from Nigeria. Yo, Flip, what's up?
Yes, sir. It's a pleasure being on this great show. I love
Yo.
what you guys are doing. You guys are supporting the culture. You're supporting the motherland. You're breaking people out to the whole world to see because it's a small village now. Anything, internet, podcast, everybody all over the world can listen. And shout out to you guys for putting this together. And it's a pleasure being on your show.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much. Definitely a pleasure. I'll be honest with you. Listen, Diaspora Central does this. Diaspora Central is doing this because of guys like you, man. Guys who have actually influenced the diaspora culture. And in my opinion, sometimes people don't even want to acknowledge their benefits to the culture that today we all benefit from. If today Afrobeats is as big as it is, it started with guys like you who at one point
Yeah,
were putting on music like, what we knew as the African sound, the urban African sound of Zonto, High Life, Suku, Scoupé de Calais, you name it. You guys were the pioneers who actually paved that way that today is laid out the layers. Come on, man. We talking about Chop My Money, major hit, P Square, Akon. Come on,
Akon, yeah.
we talking artists that paved the way to what we today know as diaspora culture. So to us, it's an honor to have someone like you on this show, brother.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Merci.
Indeed. Man, it's been a minute.
Yes, sir.
I think last time you and I got together was in DC, right? Was in Washington, right? At Exposure.
Yeah,
Was it Exposure?
I remember the studio like
Yeah,
this.
it was at the studio. Yeah, it was at the studio in DC when we were working. We were working at the time on what was it? One Night in Vegas soundtrack.
Yeah.
Right?
Kobe Maxwell.
Yeah, with Kobe Maxwell. Indeed, man. But you know what? Here at Diaspora Central, we like to connect the dots. See? So we talk references, we talk real names. We like to tell the story of the diaspora, and we like to have the story of the diaspora told from the mouths of the individuals that actually lived that life, lived that story. So tomorrow, nobody else will be telling your story for you. So, and in order to do that, we like to start with the heritage, right? We talked a little bit about Fliptyce, and we said, okay, from Nigeria. So let's now really go ahead and chop that heritage. Okay, where is Fliptyce? Yeah, where is Fliptyce from? Where were you born? Where did you go to school?
Yeah, I'm gonna break all of that down.
Yeah.
So I'm from Ekiti State in Nigeria, the southwestern part of Nigeria.
Okay.
You understand? I'm gonna break that down.
Yeah.
I studied geology, and I'm gonna tie it all together. You know, when you say Ekiti, that's Ekiti State.
Yeah.
It means mountain. It means an environment filled with islands, mountain. Say Okiti. So I'm from that state.
Okay.
In southwestern part of Nigeria, which you people call the Yoruba people. And Yoruba people, they are all over the world, from Brazil to the Caribbean, because during the time that we were enslaved, a lot of ship took all of them. You know, they took our culture, they took our tradition back to the Caribbean, to the Brazil, to all our places. The Yoruba, which is my language, is one of the most spoken language, indigenous language in the world.
Right.
So I'm from that part, and I was born in southwestern part of Nigeria. I did my primary school, I did my secondary school, and my university in that part as well. So every part of my life has been in Nigeria, in the southwestern part of Nigeria.
Right. So we're talking about a true Nigerian bread product.
Yes, sir.
No, so no additives. No additives.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
as Yoruba as he comes.
Yeah. And my names are Folorunsho Busayo Phillips. So Folorunsho,
Mhm.
it means the God is guiding, the person God is guiding.
Mhm.
So God is watching over me.
Right.
Then Busayo means a lot of joy.
Mhm.
Joy. Maybe that's why I smile a lot.
Yeah.
then then Phillips, you all know Phillips. That's
Right.
where you have Fliptyce.
Right.
Fliptyce. They usually call me the Philip the nice boy.
Right.
So then later, some people call me Flip Nice, Fliptyce.
Yeah.
So that's all about my name.
There you go. Yeah, man. It's yo, it's interesting, right? Because stories like this that actually go back and even connect our names to our heritage so that people understand what it means. Only when we hear that we then start to see certain characteristics that the person may have that be like, yo, you know what, this is divine, man. This is actually something divine. It's not, you can't make that kind of stuff up. You know,
Yeah.
you can fabricate that, man. So let's kind of go back to those days in early days in Nigeria as a young kid. Okay, elementary school, or even before elementary school at home. You come from a family. Who is mom? Who is dad? We like names. We like those stories. How did music come into that mix? Did you already know that you were gonna be a musician? Did you
Yeah.
already feel something for music?
All right. I came from I didn't come from the middle class. I came from the low class
Hmm.
when it comes to talking about the family class. And
Yeah.
my mom is a tailor. Tailor, you might call it people that
Hmm.
adjust clothes and
Yeah.
makes clothing.
Hmm.
My father is also a tailor in men's
Okay.
clothing.
Okay. So
So you can call me, you can call my parents and both tailors.
yeah. So a family of a
Now,
seamstress, and a tailor. Yeah.
yeah, you can say that again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and they never really went to school. They didn't really go to school. So,
Hmm.
but I know that I had a great influence from my uncle
Hmm.
who went to school. So I always want to be like. I looked up to him. I want to be like. I think that's the very great influence on me.
Hmm.
Then that's the beginning of the journey. Yeah.
Yeah.
So music for me, when you train up your child in a great way, in the way of the Lord, in a way that is beautiful, when he grows up or when she grows up, he or she will never depart from that part. So what happened is that I was always a member of a chorus star, a choir,
Hmm.
if you call it choir. So
Hmm.
that kind of that kind of there are a lot of things that register in our subconscious that we don't even know it. Like,
Right.
for example, we are all product of things we've been exposed to. Like, I have a 3-year-old
True.
daughter now,
Hmm.
and this stage, in the stage of value development, this is the stage that they're like sponges. They just absorb whatever they have around them, whatever they're around them. But thank God, I grew up in a very great home. So what I saw around me, positive influence. So
Hmm.
I was already a part. I was always at a point in the choir,
Yeah.
wherever I find myself. So I think those are the things that really formed the music part of me.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
That's all I can remember. Because a lot of people don't even know that I sing. They just think I just make beats.
Right.
But at the end of the day, 60% of most of the music I've made,
Hmm.
I contributed in terms of writing
Yeah.
or melody composition because of my
Background.
my heritage in
Hmm.
music. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Your background in music is
my
really.
background.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, and that's a good thing also to know, because that's why programs like this, man, shows like this are important, because people just seeing Fliptyce, the producer, or the individual who made that song for so and so, they're not seeing all the contribution that actually comes in the process. We talking about a true producer, a man. He's just not beat making. No, he's actually doing sometimes the composition of the actual song, including the melodies for the vocals.
thank you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
indeed, man. But as you know, at some point, right? as a kid? You come from you never gave us mom's and daddy's name, did you?
Oh no, my mom,
Yeah.
my dad
Mm-hmm.
is, like I said, my surname Lauren Shaw Festus. That's my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom is Lauren Shaw Taiwo.
There you.
Taiwo is a twin name, a twin.
Mm-hmm.
In Yoruba, you have Taiwo, you have Kende. So she's Taiwo.
Okay, so she's a twin.
Yeah, she's a twin.
Okay, so meaning.
I look forward to having a twin. Too.
Yeah. I think you actually. I don't know how that thing works out, but you probably could. You probably could. Yeah. Now, let's at school as a young kid, elementary school, and we going as you singing in the choir. You are a member of the church. What denomination? Who in the choir kind of influenced you? You mentioned your uncle. What was your uncle's name, as by the way?
Lauren Shaw, Isaiah.
Yeah.
Isaiah.
Okay, so your uncle also major influence, but in the choir there had to be a choir leader or a choir director that kind of, because talent knows talent when they see it. So someone had to kind of see something in you earlier to keep on empowering you or giving you even bigger opportunities to do what you did. Who was that person?
Well, I can't really remember right now because I was just a little boy.
Mm-hmm.
But I was very smart of you. You remember something called denomination, right?
Yeah.
Actually, those churches were Anglican Church
Mm-hmm.
and Christ Apostolic Church. Those are the two churches
Okay.
that I really attended. All I just remember that I was always trying to belong. I always trying to participate.
Okay.
So that's what I think. Those are things that really help. So when people are singing, they want to prepare for a special number.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be part of it. I mean, it's a lot of challenges there for people to face the crowd, but it wasn't really a big challenge for me. So I just participate. So I can't really remember a particular head of a chorister that really, but I just know that I just took part. And when we sing at home, I sing.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was doing when I was singing, I remember my parents would say, "Why are you singing like that?" Because I was always trying to form stuff, to try to experiment.
Mm-hmm.
And during the moment of experimentation,
yeah,
I was just growing. I was just developing this skill. It wasn't really looking like what sounded nice to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember they criticized me that, you cannot sing, you sound awful with that, what you're trying to do. Just like, you were trying to imagine a young boy trying to imitate the flow of R. Kelly or any of those legends back then.
Yeah.
So I remember all those steps, but, development stage is very crucial. And, something I usually tell people about these 3 stages of competence.
Okay.
We have unconscious incompetence, conscious competence, and all of that. So at the point, I knew I was getting it. I knew I was already getting this. And then when I got to secondary school, a lot of people recognized that skill in me.
Yeah.
And that's where the journey began. A lot of people started celebrating that skill.
And
music in me.
Yeah. And secondary school, where was that? What was the name of the school? And were there any?
I went to St. Peter's St. Peter's Unity Secondary School. I'm correct.
Yeah. Now, anyone in that school that also was a major influence in your path?
I think a lot of my colleagues back then, because we were always trying to mine to the early 2000 kind of song, like all those. You remind me of Joe.
Yeah.
I want to know.
Yeah.
All those songs we kind of mime it. We buy. There was a particular magazine. I don't want to call it magazine. It's like a lyrics book. You can like buy it for like $1, and it has all the lyrics. So I and my guys, we always try to know every word for word. We never had access to internet back then.
Right. So you basically learning all these American urban songs from
Yeah,
this
from this
lyric
lyrics
book.
book.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Yeah. Long way. Now, when was the first time that you actually picked up and you were like, you know what? Let me actually let's go ahead and take a quick break and
Okay.
let's come back because I want to touch on when was the first time that you actually did something production wise that people kind of turned over and they looked around and they were like, yeah, this is it. So let's take a very quick break and take a look at one of the songs that you have produced for some of our artists. So we'll be right back. And if you just joined us, you are checking out Diaspora Central. And my guest today is Fliptyce, directly from Nigeria, music producer in the building. Yes.
Torí ìgbéyàwó ó gba gudugudu méje o lọ́kọ ìyàwó tọ́jú ajá rẹ̀ ṣoríwọ́ ìyàwó ọ̀nà fọ́tọ̀kọ rẹ̀ yé o. Tí yẹ wá ní mo rí ẹ gbogbo ṣe inú wọn ni mo rí ẹ o sábà jáde orí rẹ̀ olúwa ti bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe alùpàdé lójú láyé kò sóhun bí fẹ́ láyé sọ pé orí rẹ̀ olúwa làbá lọ́kọ ìyàwó tọ́jú ajá rẹ̀ ṣoríwọ́ ìyàwó ọ̀nà pọ́tọ́kọ rẹ̀ yé o.
And we are back. If you just joined us, you are now tuned to Diaspora Central with Gil Ingles. And my guest today is music super producer directly from Nigeria, Fliptyce. And if you don't know, you've been under a rock because this is the man that made you chop your money with Akon. Fliptyce.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Diaspora Central. Thanks you for joining us and appreciate the opportunity that you give us to share your story and your journey with our audience.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure, bro.
Yeah, thank you very much. Now, at some point, you had to come up with one specific song or beat or production that made everyone else around you kind of turn around and be like, yo, he's got something here. When was that and what song was that?
Yeah, so it was at the point when I left, about the time I was leaving secondary school. Then my uncle then got a new laptop, compact Presario 2002 edition. I can never forget.
Mm-hmm.
So then I had a cousin. My cousin, he loved playing games a lot. So then he would go get. Then it was CD back then. You have to get the CD.
Mm-hmm.
Then he bought a. Then we don't really have access to those stuff, but we get the crack version, the
Right.
CD, then we install and we play.
Yeah.
Then in that game that he bought, he's a doctor now. He's in the United Kingdom now. Shout out to Dr. Olorunso Jr.,
Mm-hmm.
my cousin.
Yeah.
Then in that CD he bought, it was supposed to be James Bond game. Then
Mhm.
we found a software called EJ in that CD. That was the beginning of my production journey. So coincidentally, it just happened that way. I just picked up the software and I started making beats on that software. Then I moved to the university.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was when it was during my time in university.
Yeah.
I made a song for Danny Young.
Okay.
A song titled Ojuti One, and it was a young sharp, like what you call whiskey today. It was
Mhm.
very young and all that. Then the song, while I was in the university,
Yeah.
in Ekiti State,
Yeah.
the song became number one in Lagos, all over Africa, while I was a student.
Yeah.
So
So
that was the particular record that really registered Fliptyce. It wasn't even Chop My Money.
right.
This one happened as far back as 2009.
Wow. So you at school and you got a number one
Yeah.
record in the
Yeah. You
country.
can look it up. Yeah.
I'm just so how did it go? Let's kind of, because I want a little bit of the background story. How did you even find out that the record, like, what was it when you found out that the record was number one? Who told you? Like, how did it come up? Because I mean, I know in Africa, you know that a record is hot because when it is hot, everybody is playing that record. All the taxis, everybody in the street, every party, every nightclub, it just becomes hot, and you know that it is hot. So, but for you, at some point, you had to be like, wait a second. This is me right here.
Yeah, so what happened is that I used to do shows on campus. Like I used to, just to make more money as apart from being a music producer on campus. So I tried to do like a showbiz, like go to Lagos, save up some money, gather some money, bring popular artists to come and perform for the students. Then I brought this particular artist going by the name Daniela. So during the time we did the show, it was a big show, but we didn't make money. Some people stole our money from us. We trusted the wrong people with the ticket. We said, oh, it's our friend's sister, it's our friend brother. Let them just do it for us. We never knew that you don't just trust people when it comes to money.
Yeah, so man.
We never made anything. It was just bought. I gained something at the end of the show. So the artist just, came to my studio and okay, let's just see what we can do together. Then I started making the beats.
Yeah.
That's why up to today, I tell people that you don't neglect any form of creative job or anything that you are creating because you don't know how powerful or how huge they can be.
Indeed.
So nothing is really nothing is inconsequential.
Yeah.
Nothing is something that you can neglect. Anything can be powerful. They say if you want to underestimate power of small things,
indeed,
try and sleep in a room with one mosquito.
Right.
And you know that small things, they are powerful.
Yes.
So then I was just working on this beat. I was just working on it. And it took the beats back to Lagos. Then they started working on it. And to cut the long story short, I needed to go over to Lagos so that we can perfect everything.
Yeah.
And it released it. And the song went like wildfire.
Wow.
Like it became so big, so huge. Up to today, I'm sure if you play the record, a lot of people will, I know this song. Then there was nothing like iTunes. There was nothing like
right.
all these streaming platforms.
Yeah.
2009.
There was still CDs. People still passing CDs hand to hand, and
there is what they call Alaba International Market. You can look that up. They call it Alaba International. That's for you to have your song on major, what you guys call playlists now,
right?
Spotify playlist, Apple. So then there was some sort of playlist on the CD,
right?
Then the song was number one all over. I was on campus. People were telling me that we heard your name, Fliptyce. I was like a big superstar on campus.
Wow.
Back then in 2009,
yeah. So at that point, and that once you get bit by that, that's it. Because from that point on, it's done deal, right? Because
I'm telling you, and most of the song I worked on at every point it was at my not so much comfortable zone, Even when we made Chop My Money, I had to travel to the northern part of Nigeria, where we are experiencing this insurgency now, the Boko Haram and all of these terrorists. That's where they posted me in Nigeria. When you graduated from the university,
right,
you have to go serve the fatherland.
Got you.
The National Youth Corps. You have to. So I was posted to serve in Nasarawa, back in the village, and I was already a big producer. I love education. I want to do everything that has to do with education. So
right.
I went to Nasarawa, but I knew I wasn't supposed to be there,
right?
Because I was supposed to be in Lagos because I was in my prime. I need to be in Lagos at that time.
Yeah.
And I took the bold step. I went through the Ozu. I went through the tough difficulty task. I went to redeploy. I redeployed myself back to the city.
Right.
And I can tell you, during that same month, was the same month we worked on some of the biggest records I've ever worked on in the industry.
Wow.
So you never can tell. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it's funny, right? Something that, and I mean, just looking at the divinity of things, probably had you refused to go, maybe all those other things would not even have happened or taken place the way they took place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. Life, I'm telling you, life is amazing. It's interesting. Now let's kind of hop in on the Chop My Money, because we know that that's the one record that definitely, I mean, resonates with no one anywhere in the world does not know that song, right? Because he became pretty hot, and actually at the time when the record is hot, I mean, we would say that Akon was really definitely at its prime stage. That's when Akon is becoming the mega star. I mean, he was already a superstar at that point. He's becoming a mega star. He's like, he's an icon. He's becoming an icon. So how did the connection between you and Akon and all that happen? Let's kind of get a bit of background on that.
All right. So while I was in Lagos as a young guy, we just finished from school. Then I was a guy called LKT. Yeah, LKT. He had worked with T Square back then.
Yeah.
Then I was also working with him, and then we went to see P Square in their home, and I was like, oh, I'm a producer. Can they listen to some of my records and all that? And up to today, I still tell a lot of young producers that you have to understand the law of ratio. The law of ratio will favor or will not favor you, because you're gonna probably fail 90% before you have your number one success. So, but most people, what they do is that I'm going somewhere with this. They just try maybe one or twice or three times, and they give up. And sometimes success can be in the number 10. So that means you have to get to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 will make sense, and that will be everything you've ever desired. So I keep sending beats. To P Square, but they won't like this. They never like that and all that. But I never stop. That's why I keep telling people, you need to understand the law of ratio. Right. It's better to fail 9 times out of 10 and get it at the 10th time than to try 3 times and feel like, oh,
right, give up.
Yeah. So
yeah.
And they were rounding up their album. The title of the album is Invasion Album. They were rounding up, and that was the last record I produced on the album. And that's the record Akon collaborated with them on the album. And that song became one of the biggest songs in their entire career. And not just that, that song redefined the Afrobeat space in the world. It redefined not just the career of the artist, but shout out to Mr. Lady as well on that song.
Indeed.
It also started it's like, how will I put it now? It's like an evolution of Afro.
Definitely.
Movement.
Yeah.
Started a movement.
Yeah. There was definitely the evolution, the revolution of the African sound. That's when the diaspora and the continent become one. Because
and I did some bit of there was a bit of strategy play, a strategic work on that production that people never really, you kind of listen to it, you feel like you're listening to electronic sound from Europe, like you feel like you're listening to David Guetta, or you're listening to Ambishi or Stephen Aoki and all that, but at the end of the day, you're still hearing the African percussion, on it. So it was a blend of those two that created that spark.
Yeah. Strategically,
you have to talk to them in the language they understand. But right now, we do not need to do that anymore. Now, they understand the language of African sound now all over the world.
Yeah, no, definitely, because there are defining moments, defining characteristics of things that, regardless of how you look at them, but regardless of the perspective that you have of them, eventually you will understand what you're looking at. And that song is one of those, because there was the one song that was not only playing in international clubs, which are diaspora haven for music. That's where we people of the African diaspora or any diaspora go to listen to the music from our continents or from our homes. He was also playing on urban radio, which had pop listeners, American hip hop listeners, all of these people now paying attention to this song and loving this sound, and to the point that everybody was singing "Chop My Money." Eventually, right? Everybody kind of, it's like eventually everyone was on "Chop My Money" mode. Right, and he actually coined for the diaspora. He ended up coining an African term, right?
Chop my money.
Right.
Eat my money. Take my money.
He ended up so at that point now you have the diaspora and the continent becoming one, definitely creating the platform where Afrobeat sits today. Yeah, but we're gonna go ahead and take another quick break, man, because when we come back, we want to know what is Fliptyce doing right now, all the great things that he's working on right now. We want to know what's up and coming. So we'll be right back. Let's take another break and take a look at some of the great work that this super producer has done to kind of influence the diaspora culture, the diaspora entertainment industry, and the diaspora sound. Because remember, this man is not just about records. No, we're talking about soundtracks for movies also. And he was definitely part of the industry that launched what we today know as the diaspora movie industry, with greater movies that today we all appreciate. So we'll be right back right here on Diaspora Central with Fliptyce.
Sitting on a tree, K-I-S-S-I-N-G. Baby, me and you, lele, sitting on a tree, K-I-S-S-I-N-G. Imani Saramboro, Iwarambo Waramboro, you make me feel like, ay, 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 ay. My man love is Saramboro, Wararabaramboro, you make me feel like, ay, 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 ay. Me and you, sitting on a tree, K-I-S-S-I-N-G. Baby, me and you, sitting on a tree, K-I-S-S-I-N-G. Imani Saramboro, Iwarambo Waramboro, you make me feel like, ay, 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 ay. My man love is Saramboro, Wararabaramboro, you make me feel like, ay, 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 ay.
And we are back. If you have just joined us, you are now tuned into Diaspora Central with Gil Ingles and my guest today from the continent, one of the individuals that I consider to be the most influencer into the diaspora sound, super producer Fliptyce. Flip,
Yes, sir. Thank you.
man, yo, I'm gonna tell you one thing. Look, to start this segment, I kind of have to tell this story, right? I remember walking into the control room of Exposure Studios at Exposure Entertainment, and a lot of people don't know, right? Because they kind of see me doing the media stuff. They don't really know that I was the co-founder of Exposure Entertainment. But man, super producer, mega producer of hits, names like Yami Alade, Akon, P Square on your roster. Lots of trials that you had to go through and overcome. Within all that, there is this one dream that I know that you have, that you look at every night, dead and square before your eyes, before you go to sleep, and as soon as you wake up, also you looking at that dream right there. What is that dream for Fliptyce?
Yeah. that dream is to be the best I can and to bring out the best in people. And that reflects in my way of life, in my personal principle that I share is always to bring out the best in people and to help people. That's one thing that has been with me through it all. That's my greatest dream. And I feel like it is like to actually make the world a better place. A lot of people think it's a huge thing that you can. I feel like you can be a better person, can be a better father. You're already making it with the world a better place because you are going to be a direct influence to the children,
Right.
which you're going to raise, and which indirectly they're going to also influence other kids around them. And if your way of life exudes or talks about positivity, then you are indirectly the light to the world around you. So, in my sphere of in this industry that I operate, which is the music industry, I've been able to do that, and I'm very happy with what I've done over the years because up to today, a lot of people said to me that, bro, it's because you don't do drug. That's why I don't do drug. It's because you don't do that, you don't do this. That's why I don't do that. To me, that's one of the greatest achievements for me because I've indirectly influenced a lot of people.
Right.
So, like you said, what's one goal? One goal is that I want to be the best I can be. You know, not just I've done this, I've done that. No, there is a marathon. People don't know that it's a marathon. The race continues. You understand? So, and I also want to make sure that I be the best I can be, so that I can be the light to the people around me.
Yeah. No, definitely. And in the process of making this world a better place, I have actually landed in the seat where you became one of the biggest influencers of the diaspora sound culture, the diaspora music culture, the diaspora film culture. You have worked on several movie soundtracks. Of course, your music plays in the diaspora as if you, if you one of that. Well, you are one of the diaspora's biggest producers still, hands down, pound for pound. I mean, let's talk numbers and records. you still top 10 easy, right? And working with artists like Yemi Alade now and Akon and P Square and various others even whose names are yet not probably as big as those that everybody knows.
Davido,
Right?
Davido.
That's right. That's I mean, and what I am saying is that in itself, even within Nigeria, within Africa, creates a level of inspiration for up-and-coming artists and a level of representation, right? Because they now have representation of someone of their own that they have seen come up through the struggle and become. So they know that it is possible. They know that
possible,
right? It's like they know, they know that it is possible because, and I say that because here's the deal. It's not by chance that you're gonna turn the Washington Post Sunday magazine and you're gonna find 6 pages talking about the movie One Night in Vegas as one of the greatest movies ever made in the diaspora, one of the most revolutionary movies in the diaspora. And you go and you listen to the soundtrack of that movie and it's got names like, Fliptyce. You see what I'm saying? It's not by chance. It doesn't happen every day. It's a blessing, right? It's a blessing because
one of the most popular shows back in Africa here. I also made a soundtrack to Jennifer Diary, which is Pinky Akindele, is one of the greatest actresses.
Right.
We have. I also worked on that soundtrack. So to me, like what you said earlier, is that when people see what's possible because he has done it, I think he doesn't have 2 heads. That means I can also do it.
Right.
That's huge.
Inspires.
That's huge.
Yeah. It inspires. So definitely one thing that I will add to a title that, in all honesty, at this point, you should already start wearing, and that's legendary. You are,
I
yeah,
don't like. I don't
yeah,
always like to wear that.
yeah. No, I know.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that it gets you
Yeah.
when people call legendary. I
Mhm.
feel like there's still a lot of ground to conquer,
No, it's still,
and so many.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's
and still
still,
so many things. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
No,
I understand what you're saying. Though.
mhm.
I agree with what you're
It's
saying.
still,
Yeah,
but it is legendary, and that's part of our growth. Sometimes we have to accept our responsibility as legends in the game, as individuals that paved the way to something, and to accept that responsibility is to know that, in all honesty, you are legendary, man. You like, you give, you you
thanks a lot.
are the
I
blue, yeah,
appreciate that.
you the blueprint. I mean, think about it. And when I say, look at Africa's top 10 producers, and your name got to be on that list, and people like need to understand, because it takes a lot to get that done, because even the continent is not the easy place to be able to cross over
Yeah,
into the greatest entertainment industry in the world, which is the American market. It's not
yeah.
that easy, right?
It's not easy at
It's not
all.
that easy, right?
Takes a lot of work. Yeah,
Takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of hands, a lot of minds, a lot of people, and you guys were able to do that. We're able to connect that. We're able to get there, and
yeah.
today we are there, right? And with that in mind, I have one question. From your
It's
opinion, from your perspective, what is it that the diaspora can do better to assist legendary producers and artists from the continent, not only to maintain the fuel, but to actually go even higher in the diaspora?
Yeah. I feel like what they can do is inclusiveness.
Mhm.
I feel like some of the major players
Mhm.
need to start coming from Africa,
Okay.
because I say this: the African music industry is growing,
Mhm.
is developing,
Mhm.
and we need to understand there is a distinct difference between growth and development.
Right.
We're just growing,
Indeed.
we're growing like this. Like when something is growing, you're like, wow, wow. But
Yeah.
are we truly developing
Hmm.
structural wise, system wise?
Yeah.
No, not at that. We are not on that level yet.
Right.
So, and most of our boys, some of their things, some of majority of these guys, I feel like right now it looks like, oh, Davido, Whiskey, but do they really own their masters?
Hmm.
Do they, most of these things, I feel like the the West, they're still, it's still like the same thing that happened to to some of these artists out there that eventually will still happen, because
Hmm.
all the structure, all the things that are working
Hmm.
is still over there.
Right.
Who owns Spotify?
Right.
Who owns Apple Music? Who
Right.
owns Sony Music? Who owns all those things and all?
Yeah.
So I feel like we still need to grow for us to truly be that great.
Hmm.
We need to start actually building our own. We need to start running our show.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we can do it alone, but I
Right.
feel like if we start building stuff
Right.
now,
Hmm.
in another 10, 5, 6, 7 years,
Hmm.
you know, you never can tell how big it will be.
Right.
So I feel like, yeah, I feel like right now they should truly support us in building
Indeed.
our own things, our own structure,
Right.
our own system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, and it is something that I totally 100% agree with also, because I honestly believe that it is time that the diaspora took their own abilities, their own capacity to capacitate the diaspora and the continent, because we are sitting at a point in which I think financially, this is probably the biggest amount of money that diasporans have ever had before. But I do
Yeah.
agree with you. We're still doing things the same old way. Instead of us building, and I'm even going to go into physical structures, to be honest with you. Instead of us building, let's say, or purchasing a building and call it whatever, but it is ours, it's purchased. No, we're still paying rent. One person paying rent in that building, another person paying rent in another building. All these businesses in the same city, sometimes all these businesses all over the place, and they're all paying rent. Nobody owns the building. So eventually, we're still dependent on others to be able to accomplish what we want, or what we need to accomplish. Where yet we could have already gotten together, and even if it was $1,000 from 1,000 of us in the diaspora, they would automatically give us $1 million.
That's deep.
You know what I mean? And we yet still not in that mode. And it is work in progress. And it is work in progress. As I speak those things, I don't speak to criticize people. No, I speak to auto criticize. It's to auto criticize, to criticize ourselves and to empower ourselves so that we will be able to look at it as an actual problem that we need to fix, and hopefully maybe not my generation, but the generation after me will be able to reap the benefits from things of that, because owning our own infrastructure in the diaspora and in the continent, it's critical to the success of us.
We don't even own all our things in the continent. You're right. We don't even own most of our things.
Indeed, no.
A lot of African leaders have taken loans.
Indeed.
Most of this,
indeed.
We don't even, you're right.
Yeah. So it's like, with that in mind, we definitely need to kind of work on that. But let's take another break, because our audience, man, they love your content, they love your music, and today it's about you. It's about sharing with them some of the work that you have done. So let's take another break and have them dance a little bit more to some of your stuff. So we'll be right back. If you just joined us, you are tuned into Diaspora Central with Gil Ingles and my guest today, directly from Nigeria, super producer Fliptyce, the man who will show you how to chop your money. We'll be right back.
Yeah. Even though I make real dough, you're the reason there'll be more. Yeah. Yeah. Even though I got much more, I don't mind if you chop.
He get this fine lady. Her body not die him one baby who's supposed to live like family. Hey, I know the lie. There's nothing stopping me. She dey feel my swag and I get money. I dey try my best to be somebody, cause I'm living life. This girl they make me high.
Eyes, yeah. You don't go believe she's looking at me. Right eyes.
If you see this baby, then I'm saying she must chop my money. Chop my money, cause I don't care. Chop my money, cause I don't care.
And we are back. If you just joined us, you're now tuned into Diaspora Central with Gil Ingles, and today my special guest is Fliptyce. Fliptyce, chop my money.
Yes, sir.
Man, that song, "Chop My Money." I need you to kind of break down even just the concept for that production, because I'm gonna tell you, it was unique. You know that?
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a unique thing, and in all honesty, I understand your production vein, of course, because I'm one of those guys that when I study people. Yeah, I study people. Like when I'm sitting there, I'm listening, and I'm like, okay, I'm looking for the vein where everything coming from, and I'm like, and I can kind of see, and but Chop My Money, dude, that was monumental.
Thank you.
Give us a bit of that, the special sauce, and maybe not the ingredients, if you don't want to go straight to the ingredients, but give us some of the mixtures that you kind of had to throw in there.
All right, no problem. I'll be glad to do that. So I share this with people. I tell them, I think not too long ago, that no idea is new under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Even though when you think what you have is original, but
Mm-hmm.
it might not really be original. It might have registered in your subconscious,
Right.
and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
You understand? So here I am. A melody was playing in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
A hook stuck in my head. Like it was a song by a guy called Jay Sean. You might not really remember him, but it was signed to Young Money at the time.
Okay.
Just the chord progression, and you're in music, chord progression is not no copyright. There's no
Right.
law.
Yeah.
That means
Yeah.
if you're the same chords, you
Right.
play the same.
Yeah.
So it all started with that chord. Sweet chord, because I tell people, whatever it is that you're creating,
Mm-hmm.
make sure that the foundation is solid.
Right.
When the foundation is solid, every other thing works just fine.
Yeah.
So we had a very good melody. We have a very good melody,
Mm-hmm.
and also coupled with the percussions, awesome.
Yeah.
Then I got tired of doing just the local sound,
Mm-hmm.
African sound, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel like
Yeah.
that's the time I started falling in love with electronic dance music,
Right.
David Guetta, Avicii, and all of these guys. So I feel like, why can't I just bring in some electronic sound
Mm-hmm.
into this record? That's why sometimes everything starts with your thoughts,
Right.
starts with your mindset.
Yeah.
And sometimes when the thought comes, don't talk yourself out of it, because you never know how big or high, huge
Indeed.
it
Indeed.
might get to. So I followed my mind, I followed
Yeah.
my intuition,
Mm-hmm.
and I did that, and it worked.
Yeah.
So that's how we had that massive sound that is difficult to resist. Just yesterday,
Yeah.
some guys in Asia, they were
Mm-hmm.
having a party. I posted a video on my page,
Right.
and they were playing Chop My Money, and they were doing the same thing we do in Africa.
Right.
Spraying the money, like
Right.
dance, like you know. So now music is bringing in our culture
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
into the world.
Yeah.
Now you see people at every party,
Yeah.
they are spending money, Chop My Money.
Oh, yeah.
They were singing it. You need to see that video.
Right.
So that's why sometimes when the thought comes, don't downplay on your thoughts.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on to it and work towards it. Don't matter how far you go, just take the steps that you can take, because eventually somebody else will pick up on it and give continuity to what it is.
Yes, sir.
Indeed. Yeah. Now, news. We got to have something new. We got Fliptyce in here. We know that the man don't stand still. He's still working on something. He's still in the studio.
Yeah.
It's like, give us a bit of that and what you got going on.
So right now, I started working on my own personal project
Mm-hmm.
as an artist,
Okay.
as a composer, as a writer. So the very first song is going to be dropping in November. Don't Kill My Vibe. And
All right.
just to encourage my fans and followers, and I put up a competition out there that why don't you sing on this? If you impress me, I can have you on that song.
Okay.
And this still stems out of that part of me. Always want to bring out the best in people, always
Right.
want to give back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to drop. I have a lot of songs that I've recorded,
Yeah.
and I'm launching a product. If you remember,
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, everything about me is about my story, about things
Right.
that I'm trying to do. Faking it is real.
Yeah.
That we need to start owning our own product, our
Yeah.
own platforms,
Yeah.
our own thing. So I'm building a product called SoFly Audio, and that product is going to help me also reach wider audience who want to have access to my
Right.
my own my book,
Mm-hmm.
my courses,
Mm-hmm.
my teachings,
Right.
and also my softwares, my audio softwares to
Right.
help
Right.
upcoming writers and producers. So
Yeah.
that's what SoFly Audio is about. So I'm also
SoFly.
working on that. I'm writing audio, SoFly
Yeah.
Audio.
SoFly
I mean,
audio.
if you listen to Chop My Money, that's the word you're gonna hear, SoFly.
Gotcha.
So apart from that, I'm also writing a book, 2 books actually.
Mm-hmm.
One is for creatives. I titled it. I don't let me say the title yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's all okay. Let me just say something about it.
Right.
It's creative greatness. That's what the
Gotcha.
book is about.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have a book especially for producer,
Mm-hmm.
Productivity,
Mm-hmm.
to help them with their productivity. Because
Yeah.
I say it a lot of times, talent
Mm-hmm.
is not just about talent.
Yeah.
They say hard work beats talent
Mm-hmm.
when talent doesn't work hard enough. A
Yeah.
lot of people need to start understanding that,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
improving yourself
Mm-hmm.
will definitely transcend the very now skill that you have.
Indeed.
I tell people, stop chasing butterfly.
Right.
Stop chasing butterfly. Why don't you become a flower?
Right.
Then when you are a flower,
The butterfly will come to you.
butterfly will come right to you.
Indeed. Indeed.
So those are the things that will be in the book that people are going to be reading. All these little things,
Yeah.
like you need to know who you are. You need to believe in yourself. So that's the reason why I need to putting that book together.
Yeah.
And I shared a lot of things in the book, from the story of African impala. We're talking about Africa. So
Yeah.
I can throw that. African impala is like African antelope that can jump up to 10 feet.
Right.
And when they jump, all these antelope in the wild,
Right.
when they jump, they go like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Straight.
And this same animal will be kept in a zoo with a 3-foot wall
Right.
like this, and they will not move.
Right.
They will never move.
Right.
Because if they don't see where their food will fall,
Right.
they will never make a move. And most of us were like that. Like,
Yeah.
when we don't really have a clear picture of what our ideas or what our goals, everything we become.
Right.
We are stuck. We were scared. What if I fail? What if it doesn't work?
Yeah.
And all of that. While I was in university,
Mm-hmm.
I thought about that, but I never allow my fear to overcome. So that's why
Right.
I'm sharing everything in this book I'm writing on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm writing right now.
Yeah.
So many stuff that I'm working on.
Yeah. No, legacy. You're building legacy. That's what you're doing. You're building legacy, not only for you, of course, not only for your family, but you're building legacy for Africa. You're building legacy for the continent. You're building legacy even for the diaspora, because as an influencer of diaspora culture, that also helps us here in the diaspora.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you gotta promise me that you're gonna be back to help us also help you promote that project that you got coming in. As a matter of fact, as a matter of fact, if there is anything that you already have to promote that project, just go ahead and send it to us, and we'll be more than sure to add that to our website, which is diasporacentral.net. And
Thank you.
yeah, as you know, our purpose is really plain and simple: to educate, inspire, inform, entertain, and eventually through those 4 pillars, we'll be able to empower ourselves, not only as members of the diasporas, but as members of the globe.
Well done. Well done. That's
Indeed.
huge. I love
Indeed,
that.
brother. Yes, sir. And man, it's been a pleasure having you here. Any shout outs that you want to give out there to any of your fans, any of your folks, man, now is the time to do so.
It's a pleasure being on the show. I'm always a student, and I have learned a lot just by talking to you on
Likewise.
this program, and nothing much to say. If you are out there, I just want to let you know that your dream is possible.
Yeah.
You just got to believe in yourself and put in the work. Put in the work. Work. Nothing can beat consistency. So that's what I can just tell you.
Indeed.
And shout out to you as well.
Thank you.
And to the entire team.
Thank you.
Behind this. Well done, guys. And I can't wait to see everything unfolding into huge stuff.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Done.
Yeah, thank you. We
Yes,
extend our invitation to you already. Whenever you're in town, if you do come to Houston, Texas, man, do not hesitate to come and visit the facility. Come and check out. This is home for you. Okay, this is home for you. Yes, sir. Don't treat it like somebody else's home. No, this is your home. So anytime you got news, do not hesitate to let us know. Shoot us an email like, hey, Gil, here's what I got coming up in about 2 weeks and this and that, and we will run with it, man. We'll definitely do the best that we can do to assist and to help on everything else. And as always, man, it's been a great pleasure, man. Best wishes. You know, it's been a challenging year just coming out of the deep of the pandemic. So just us being able to survive and having the ability to continue to empower our communities is a great thing.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Fliptyce.
I hold that.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, man. We're gonna go out to another one of your sounds, and brother, I definitely appreciate you spent a lot of time with us, man. It was great. Look, great interview. Hopefully we can get you in the next few months, definitely after the project drops, because we're gonna want to discuss some of the songs that you're gonna drop on that project. And like I said, man, Diaspora Central is home for you, so don't ever hesitate to reach out to us, man.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Bless you, brother.
Indeed. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. All right. So for those of you listening, there is only one keynote in this program, and that's the keynote that I think that you need to take with
Fliptyce
the
mix.
following. Eventually,
Spotlight.
you gotta take that leap of faith. You know, you have the ability to jump 10 feet high. Don't let these good things keep you prisoner to your own future. Until next time, remember, if we don't do it for ourselves,
His sounds are very unique and number one, and his sounds will make you just listen to it, you have an idea fast.
My money, drop my money. You know they empty.
He knows how to do the Nigeria dance hall. When it comes to that, I give it all. I have advice every artist. If you're working on a project, try and work with this guy.